Williams, no relation to myself, but we gonna do some ancestor tree to see how far we go back there. But we have Dr. Frederick Williams in the house, so we're gonna be talking about knowing your rights when it comes to auto accidents, and that's most important because I've always said that there is biasness when Black and brown people get in auto accidents, and we gonna be closing the gap this year in 2024. We're gonna close the gap on a lot of things. We have our engineer Bezo, Big B in the house, honey.
What's good? What's good?
All right now. So we want to say a warm thank you to DJ CEO Daryl Johnson and Tampa Bay Tammy for always being on the forefront of In Touch News and Radio. They also have In Touch News Radio print. So if you're ever looking to advertise your business, get a hold of the station at area code 813-444-9588. Good morning, Fred. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
It's the smile for me. It's the smile for me. That's a smile of money. That's the money smile. Well, how you doing today, little bro?
I'm doing good. It's always good to put good information out. So Fred, we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to get down here and to be able to give our community, our fan base, good information. So many times when an automobile accident occurs, a lot of times we get clueless on what to do. Usually we call somebody that we know that knows some information about something to maybe hook us up with an attorney or could put us in the best position to get good information. But lo and behold, we got you now. So now, for all of our community members out here, for all of our fan base, and listen, just want to let y'all know, Michelle got 5 cameras set up today. So if I'm looking at the wrong one and I look over here and I look over here and I look back at them, don't think I ain't trying to make no eye contact with nobody. I'm just saying that, it's a lot of cameras being set up right here. I'm liable to jump on Fred's camera and get it. You know what I'm saying? Just so his people can see, I'm talking. So, we're grateful to get Fred in the studio to be able to give us some good information about automobile accidents. But the first thing I want to know is, Fred, how did you get into this field?
Okay, that's a great question. So my training, my background comes from the NFL. So I was trained by doctors from the Washington Redskins, which are now the Commanders, and the Philadelphia Eagles. So I had no clue, no idea about auto accidents. And honestly, I didn't want to have anything to do with it because I was just dealing with athletes. And I'm like, this is my thing. This is what I'm going to do. So, funny story, I had a friend call me. He's from New Orleans, but he's in South Carolina. He called me. He says, hey, man, do you help people in accidents? I said, no, I work with the ballers. He said, yeah, I know. He said, let me ask you a question. Do you help people? I said, of course I help people. He said, let me ask you, do people that get in car accidents need help? I'm like, I suppose they do, but what's that have to do with me? He said, man, you need to look into it. It's a big industry, and those people need help. So by him pushing me, it took me like a year to do research and take courses to learn how those injuries were pretty similar to the football and basketball injuries, if you think about it. Someone getting slammed to the ground by a 300-pound linebacker, pretty similar to the traumatic hit of a car accident when you're blindsided. So as I did my research and studied and took more training in it, I started going into it, started meeting different people who were involved in car accidents, and I realized these people, in fact, need help. But being a new doctor in town, none of the people would send anyone to me. So as a result, I had to reach my community myself. So what I did was do events throughout the year to meet the community, which worked out really well. And we've been helping people for almost 10 years for those folks that's been involved in car accidents.
Wow. So you're saying you, I don't want to say stumbled into this profession, but
100%.
you were, with the NFL world dealing with that type of injuries.
Correct.
And then crossed over into automobile accidents.
Absolutely. I had no interest at all dealing with insurance, dealing with lawyers, dealing with anyone that's crying or pain. I was just used to flying and doing different things, and
for the ballers.
Yeah.
For the ballers. Let them know for the ballers. For the ballers.
So it was that was just my stick, and as a result, I still help some of the athletes, coaches, and agents call me for that. But the majority, the bulk of our clients we see, our patients we see, are the folks that are injured, and folks that get injured sometimes they go to places that may not have the training necessary to actually help them get better. Because we all know someone that's been in a car accident, went somewhere, this XYZ clinic that this billboard lawyer sent them to, and then they leave out of there with the same problems that they came into. How do I know this? Because they call me. They say, Doc, we went to over here, we got a little check, and my body still hurts. And I'm like, okay, let's see what we can do. But a lot of times, unfortunately, when they go to these places, they get taken advantage of, especially in our community. They end up with very little settlements, and the treatment they get is subpar. A lot of times, they never see someone that looks like me. They don't see any doctors at all. They'll go through the rigmarole, do this treatment, do this and that, which does that stuff help? Sure. But if you're not dealing with someone that knows how to treat and address those injuries, you're never going to get better. And the high number of our community are those ones going through that meal and still dealing with that issue. So that's why I'm here today, to help educate our communities of how to get better, who to call, and what to do when you're injured.
See, the thing that attracted me, not only to your practice, is I remember when you first landed in Tampa. I say landed because it was your name, Kingdom Chiropractic. And I'm just like, that's a bold statement right there. Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Because
Praise the Lord.
Look.
Praise the Lord.
Look who he's reaching. He's trying to reach the masses of the black people. He's trying to let them know that, hey, look, you know, I know that, you know, I'm not out there like everyone else, but listen to me, so your body will not be in the pain. It'd be like he's like the one hitter quitter, I call him. You know, we spoke in private, you know, and I told him, I said, you know, Dr. Fred, I said, my biggest thing is that some of these chiropractic doctor's office, this is not him saying this is me, and me and my opinionated truth, is that these people, like he said, they come out worse. Some come out worse off than what they did, because guess what? It's just a money-making mechanism for them. They're not concerned about the deep tissue injury that you're going to go 5 years from now, that you're going to be experiencing in that lower back pain where they say your L7, 5, and 4 were messed up, you know what I'm saying? And all they were doing was putting a vibrating machine on you to say, oh, you know, let me just put you on here to let you adjust me. You know, I put my daughter in his care, and my daughter came out better than when she walked in after that auto accident. She came out better. Not only because people don't understand, and this is what Dr. Fred and I talked about, when it comes to the spinal cord, if your spinal cord is not adjacent, because remember, I started as a nurse first, RN, now Dr. Michelle Williams.
Hello.
And so when it comes to the spinal cord, people don't understand. Not only does it do things for your people, let me talk this real fast, if I may, regarding the pineal gland. People think the pineal gland is the penis. It's not. It's the base of your brain. And if your spine is not intact, it throws your whole body off. You're not going to be able to think properly. You're not going to be able to manifest. So this is why I encourage people, not only don't stop going to get massages, go to people like Dr. Fred and get your spine cracked, so you can get your pineal gland back in. You want to know why we're so broke in the black community? Because our pineal gland is not that little piece of tissue in the back of your brain is not aligned with your spine. Go to a chiropractor, one that you can entrust like Dr. Frederick Williams, and get your spine put back in place, so you can get your money back on track. I'm telling you, everybody better be chasing a bag this year. Because if you know, and let me tell you, I'm chasing a bag this year. But I want you all to understand the know-how of being in an automobile accident. Get with Fred. Call Fred. Fred and I are going to be doing some phenomenal things this year, the Lord's will. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to put too much out on air, because, you know, we got demons warring on that energy of jealousy and hate. But, you know, jealousy and hate and envy comes from your pineal gland not being where it's supposed that pineal gland not being where it's supposed to. Yeah, it mess up everything.
I think the most important thing that, you know, I quickly take away from is people get in an automobile accident. They don't know who to call. Okay? And then they go to the chiropractor place, and because the lawyer is telling you got to go get checked out. You want this check to rise up a little bit more, get more. Let's keep it real here.
Yeah.
You know, if you get in an automobile accident and you don't go to the hospital, you don't go to no chiropractor, you don't go to no doctor, no sort, it is the mindset that I will not get paid what I should from an insurance claim.
Yeah.
Okay? So when you get in an automobile accident, they say, hey, we need to go see a doctor. We need to go see somebody. But like Mr. Fred is saying here is a lot of people who look like me and you will be hoodwinked into going to these places or establishment. And guess what? Go there for them to be able to write down on the insurance that they seen somebody so they get their funding, but you ain't really getting no treatment. Because I understand that, listen, somebody hit me right now? Listen, I told them if somebody hit me right now, they are going to have to shut down whatever intersection we at. I don't give a damn if we on Hillsborough, if we on I-4, we on 75, 275. If they hit me right now,
It's over.
it is over. Listen, the last words before they take me in that gurney is going to be, I've been waiting on you. I've been waiting on you. This is going to be the last words before they take me out on the stretcher talking about, I've been waiting on you. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we have been conditioned so much as a community to say, you got to go to a chiropractor, a doctor, and guess what? That's how you can get your money up. And a lot of times, and I know people personally that have been in accidents, went to places and still aching from the pain, you know, months, years later because they wanted a quick check.
Right.
Sometimes the quick check, you know, doesn't come with the adequate service or the treatment that they deserve, because a lot of these people, like he's saying, if you was in a professional world and you were getting slammed by a 300-pound lineman, you gonna have some pain somewhere.
Right.
What do we do with the pain? Is it about the check or is it about my health? Because guess what? If I die in 6 months because the injury didn't get corrected, the money don't matter.
Don't matter. I think you made a great point. Everyone sitting in this room today, we could walk out of here and open up a clinic and call it whatever you want to call it. Crazy thing in Florida is you don't have to be a doctor to run a doctor's office. I'm talking any doctor, orthopedic, neurology, surgery centers. You
Good
can be,
information.
if you got some money, guess what? You can have a doctor's office, but you can't open a law office while being a lawyer, which is good. I agree with it. So what happens is, so-and-so gets in a
Shoot me
wreck.
down.
I laid on that massage table. They put this pad on me. This don't seem too hard. So you know what? Let's open up one. My uncle's a lawyer. I know everybody in the community. Have them come in. So guess what? When they go to Uncle Jimmy's clinic, guess what? And they do the same thing that so-and-so did to them, that so-and-so did to them. So as a result, they're doing these same things for everybody. And guess what? There's no one size fits all in healthcare. So people often ask me, Doc, how many times do I need to come in? That's a great question. When I do my examination and I see what injuries you have, then I'll know what your treatment protocol would be. So every person, everybody's bodies are different. So
You can't be a cookie cutter, is what
You
you're saying.
can't be.
Right, and we
Well, I
have too
respect
many.
that. I respect
we have
that.
too many in this community.
I can't
Too
be a
many.
cookie cutter. I can't tell you that you got hit from the back in a car accident and you need some electroshock treatments in your back and you should be good and I'll see you next month.
right.
Oh, let me just throw this back brace on you and give you this TENS unit that's gonna cost you $1,056. You know what I'm saying? And but that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
And like I say, that's why I'm collaborating with doctors like Dr. Frederick Williams and good lawyers. What attracted me spiritually to Dr. Fred is he's a God-fearing man. And people who put God before anything and put God in their business, those are the people that you can almost literally count on to do things right by people. Like I say, I put one of my most precious jewels in his hands, and that was my daughter. My children are my jewels, and I put my daughter in his hands, and he took phenomenal care of my daughter. I mean, like he was putting my daughter to sleep. I mean, one time she called me, she said, "Mama, I need you, I may need you to come pick me up because he done cracked my spine so good, and I feel so relaxed. I got to go, and I'm sleepy."
Yeah.
But that's what happens. You don't understand, because not only am I a doctor of naturopathic and holistic medicine and homeopathic remedies, folklore, but also I do Reiki healing. Ever since I was 6 years old, I've always had the ability to heal. I have to be careful about who I do Reiki sessions with, because when you're a Reiki healer, you're pulling a sickness or an infection or a disease from somebody's body.
Wow.
So then I have to go and spiritually cleanse myself so I don't take on those characteristics of that person that I just healed. So that's why I commend people like Dr. Fred. I don't know Ren, that you ever followed him or seen any of his videos on Facebook, but in his little, sponsored commercials, I'm just like, I may need to go, Fred. I need that elbow right here. You know what I'm saying? I need that elbow right here. You know what I'm saying? Because I do, and when you're a Reiki healer, you have to get in some tough positions.
Mm-hmm.
You have to really get in some tough positions. And I'm just like, I ain't no spring chicken. I'm over 50 plus 50 plus 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Don't drop that elbow on me.
Yeah.
Don't drop that elbow on me. Don't drop that.
So, but this is all part of the practice. And I've actually had chiropractor offices that reached out to me because when I graduated in 2021 and I announced it on Facebook, I just finished, and it was so sad because, a lot of people still couldn't come. My parents can only look at my white coat ceremony via Zoom, you know what I'm saying? Because there was no audience. We just the students walking across the stage to receive our white coats and our stethoscopes. And so, but it was still beautiful, still graduated. Right. But a lot of chiropractors offices reached out to me. And then I had to sit back and I thought about it. And I said, wait a minute. I'm a golden goose. I know this. I know who I was predestined to be. Because God showed my great-grandmother, who told my grandmother, who told my mother, and I was groomed as a child growing up. Like, don't let people touch you. And unless a hug is coming into you, if you don't feel comfortable, back up. They trained me how to be received and accepted in the community. And so when it comes to those offices that reached out to me, I said, you only want me because of my following.
There's some wolves.
You only want me because of my following. Because Michelle, the activist, if somebody call her, she gonna be like, oh, I got this doctor for you, or I got this lawyer for you. I don't operate. I'm not a hustler. And that's what sets me different from the stage in front of this community. I've never been an ambulance chaser. But if somebody calls me,
I know somebody.
And I know somebody, I don't advertise that. I chase justice.
Hello.
I chase criminals. I want to make sure that people who look like me, walk like me, talk like me, and want to be like me, that you're going to have the best representation in that criminal courthouse. That money-making, heartbeat, bleeding, menstrual period. You know what I'm saying?
That'll be for another show, y'all.
Yeah.
That'll be for another show. That'll be for another show.
But, so I chase justice. But if so happen chance, somebody calls me and say, Miss Michelle or Dr. Williams, I done been in this car accident, yada, yada, woo, woo. You know what? Even though that's not my expertise, I got somebody that I trust that's in my network. And that's what I have. Because I never thought that I would, have to talk to, people about wills, probate, and trust. Okay, Attorney Clint. Hey, I got somebody with wills, probate, and trust. He handles that. Bankruptcy. People call me, Miss Michelle, I need to file bankruptcy. And I'm seeing more and more young people wanting to file bankruptcy and get their life back on track because guess what? They unfortunate things. Their mama had a light bill in their name, and the more the mama had the utilities in their name, and the mama had to put a car in their children's name, and got these children messed up at age 18 now, where they trying to start their life over. So guess what? I'm showing them how to do that. And and it's sad that I'm having to coach 18 and 19-year-old children, teenagers, how to file identity theft with the IRS and with the Social Security office. And, when they go do the research, they be like, well, wait a minute, this utility bill. And so then the young man looking at me, Miss Michelle, I was 8 years old. I said, well, baby, your mama did what she had to do to keep them lights on. We go forgive her. But we can straighten this out.
Right. Yeah, you couldn't pay for it anyway.
Yeah, we can straighten this out. So those, that's the type of network that I'm building. So that's why I'm happy to collaborate with Dr. Fred, to have him in my. So if somebody do call me, hey, I do got a chiropractor for you.
Well, speaking of Dr. Fred, tell us where you're located
at. Currently, we have an office in the Brandon, Tampa area by the Brandon Mall. Before COVID, we had 5 locations stretching all the way to Miami, but COVID changed the world for everyone.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
And I'm a lot more stress-free, right? Instead of running all over Florida, and my patients in Miami, they still remind me they miss me, but I love everyone. But we're in Tampa Bay area. I've been in Tampa almost 10 years, and we just love serving the people and helping them. So, in fact, when people come in as a stranger, they leave out as family. Like you were mentioning your daughter, I treat everyone like family because oftentimes I've had family members go to other doctors, to hospitals, and seen the mistreatment. I had uncles, unfortunately, pass away from poor service.
That's powerful.
right? And when I talk to people about health and healing God's way, my ex-wife, her mother was on prescription medications, and she had all these conditions, and so I seen how someone can go from health to non-healthy and be strung out on drugs,
Opiates.
right? People worry about the cartels and the Colombians. Let me tell you, these guys at Pfizer and Bayer, guess what? They pushing more dope than anyone. In fact, I worked at Bayer as a young man, and we had a pharmacy on campus. Let me tell you this.
Wow.
We had a pharmacy. The only stipulation for us, we couldn't resell the drugs. They were so cheap. I mean, you're talking 50 cents, $1 for the same drugs. You go to CVS, Walgreens, paying $20, $30 for it. So they're selling it to the employees for 50 cents and $1. So imagine what it costs to manufacture these drugs. They're making $1 billion on these drugs. Eli Lilly, the father of medicine, said that a drug without a side effect is no drug at all. So everything you put in your body is going to have some side effect, right? It's up into leading to death. I haven't met anyone in my entire life that took a pill and it fixed the problem, right? Because if you have a heart condition, they say, all right, take this pill for your heart. Take this pill for this condition. When you stop taking that pill, guess what happens?
That condition come back.
It comes back, but guess what? Even worse, because if you're taking insulin, right? The body makes insulin. We know this, right? So when you start taking insulin exogenously, the body's like, hey, I'm not going to work too hard, right? I'm going to make less insulin. So now, guess what happens to the dose? It goes up because your body's producing less of it. That happens with every hormone in the body. You talk about the pineal gland, the hypothalamus. The hypothalamus is the grand central station in the body. It controls all our hormones. So if something is off, guess what? Everything is going to be off. And what controls everything in the body? The brain and the spinal cord. They're so important. When your mom's egg and your dad's sperm come together, they divide. Boom, and we happen. They're so important. These are only two organs that God put bone all the way around, your brain and your spinal cord. There's no other organs that are covered by it. So it's so important that we maintain proper spinal health.
Wow.
You might say, how do I know if I have good spinal health? That's a great question. We all know someone that was quote unquote healthy. They worked out, eating salads, stretching, all these sort of things. And I'm thinking about this particular person. You go to the doctor, tight pants, and they say, Jim, you look great. Take 2 steps out of the office, and he drops dead of a heart attack. What happened to Jim? Do the test. Guess what? Jim had life being cut off going to his heart, but no one knew it. No one checked that lifeline that's going to the heart. And that's what we do. People come in for pain, I get it. But what I'm doing is checking the lifeline, making sure we're going to live that life that God had for us.
Wow. That's powerful. You know, to be able to say you come to his facility because of an accident or some type of collision, not only are we going to check the condition of that injury, but we're going to check the entire body to make sure that when you walk out of here, you straight.
Absolutely.
That you can continue to live a healthy and productive life. And, you know, to so many people in our community, you know, they get in an accident and they're going to these doctor shops ran by, you know, top doctor tight pants, as you said.
I like that.
and get no treatment.
Right.
You know, and it's just a money making system. But, you know, to be able to say what's most important, to be able to say we need to make sure that our brain and our spinal cords are always intact, you know, that's powerful. A lot of people overlook that, how important their brain is or what it's attached to. And like you said, most facilities just want to prescribe you a drug.
Yeah.
And then oftentimes, you know, if you look over into the criminal justice system, because of the addiction, now people have been strung out and now are addicts, and now they need recovery, and now they can't understand because they've put an altered substance in their body that did just that. It altered their body.
Correct. You know, in America, we take more pills, more prescriptions, more potions, more lotions than any country around. And if we're so smart, we have so much money, you would think we'd have the best healthcare in the world, right? We rank 46 in mortality. What's that mean, Doc? That means 45 other countries live longer and healthier than us. Right above us at 45, who can you guess is this superpower that's doing all these right things? Our neighbors to the south, Cuba. Guess what? And this is a third world country. They don't have as much money as us. They don't have the technology as us. They don't have anything that can compare to America. But what are they doing differently? They're not popping these pills. They live off the land. They're walking a lot of places. What do? We walk from our house to the garage. We take our food, we microwave it. We're in the drive-thrus. We don't do anything active. Back in the old days, people were more active. But now you have to get a gym membership. You know how many people worked out in the old days? Not a whole lot, because why?
You were walking everywhere.
You were walking everywhere.
You were walking everywhere.
You were more active. You were in your, like my grandmother had a garden. They did things differently. But now I have to tell parents, take your kids outside. Get 30 minutes of green time, because watch, we're on the phones, we're texting, we're doing everything on these computers, which I'm guilty of as well. But we have to get back to being more natural, because it's not natural to be confined in spaces all day. If you don't get enough sunlight, guess what? You don't get that vitamin D that the sun produces.
That's
so
right.
all these conditions come from our lifestyle. Some of the most healthy people in the world are the Japanese. They live longer than anyone. Why? Because they're eating healthy
foods.
They're more active. And in America, I mean, I've traveled abroad. We're the fattest and most unhealthy country in the world. Do they know how, when you travel, do they know, guess how they know you're American? When they're scanning your suitcase, what do they see? All these pills. They say, oh, there's the gringos. Because we were taking more drugs than anybody.
When my sister lived in Misawa, Japan, and I was fortunate enough to go over there and live with her
Oh, nice.
for 3 years, during the birth of my second niece. And my niece, she speaks 11 different languages, and we had a time, because being that she was born in Japan, I'm just like, excuse me, I know that Black people do live in Japan, but she's American. Okay, she's coming home with us. All right, she's coming home. But I told my sister, I laugh and joke with her. I say, you were fine when you lived in Japan. You came over here and started eating these hamburgers and put on the weight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, I was been a brick house, but you know what I'm saying? I'm a brick house and have been my whole life. So
Man, that's just how God made it.
But it is so true, because while living there, I never thought living in Japan is what opened up my tongue palate to the different seafoods and the culture there. And I'm like, in the different spot, I'm like,
So
sometimes like now I'm literally was in Winn-Dixie, and I was just like, there's that Japanese barbecue sauce that I used to eat when we were living in Japan. Now they got it on the shelves, like I'm seeing more and
I
more
love Asian
things.
food.
I'm seeing more and more food from, Vietnam, Japan, and China in Publix. Publix has a whole plethora of those foods now. So I'm just so happy.
When do you ever see an overweight Asian person?
You really don't. It's rare.
Unless they're American.
Right. It's rare. It's rare.
Eating with sticks, it's hard to get fat eating with these little sticks.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. So I'm sorry, guys. We got so engaged in the conversation. The call-in number for our podcast program is area code 813-444-9588. Again, that's 813-444-9588. Dr. Fred, how, people, because like I say, all the platforms are listening. So how would they be able to get in contact with you? You can give out your office phone number for them.
Okay, so I always tell people, if you're in a wreck and need a check, don't waste time. Call 1-844 Florida Spine. One call, that's all. In all the socials, Kingdom Chiropractic, or my personal page is Dr. McDreamy 007. That's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. Yeah.
So now you know how to get in contact with Dr. Frederick Williams, one of the best chiropractors in the Tampa Bay area. Not just going in, he's not mechanically working you. You ain't gonna go in there. Look, if you think you finna go in there for 15, 20 minutes, you better take your lunch, because Fred gonna work you up. Fred gonna work you up. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
ma'am.
And he's gonna get your body. He's gonna get your body back together where it needs to be. Because, like I say, I've seen people who have run over to these bigger platforms who are advertising. And I like what you said, these billboard people, you know what I'm saying? And people think because, I see your name up on a billboard, you can afford that monthly fee, but they don't know the ins and out of how they're paying for that billboard. They got people that's sponsoring them, and that's doing that. So, be careful, guys. I've always said, when it comes to biasness, when people, especially people of color, are in automobile accidents or slip and fall accidents, and they think, I don't care what anybody says. I have people that work inside Geico. I have people that work inside Allstate. I have people that work inside Progressive. These are people who have been friends with me for over 40-something plus years, and they tell me about the racism that's inside of the insurance industry. Like, literally, the first thing that they want to start out with you, Yeah, we'll get your medical bills covered, and we'll make sure that our insurance company, pays for you to go to the doctor a few times. But guess what? We ain't gonna give you no more than $2,000. You know what I'm saying? And some people, like Walt, I like what you said. Some people are just chasing the check, because what I found out is that it's a lot of people out here that's doing setups for auto accidents. They doing setups for auto accidents, and now really got yourself hurt, and now you're mad at your homeboy because the scheme looked good at the beginning.
I'd just like to touch on what you said there. With people, so the insurance companies, they keep a history of everything. So if you're unfortunate in an accident, that's accident is true. But they keep records of who's in an accident, who's involved in an accident, and which lawyer you went to, which doctor you went to. So everyone has a history. So if you're going to these
Nice
places, guess what? They're going to be looking closely at certain facilities, because there's things that happen that's not legal. Let's be honest about it, and they know who they are, and they're watching everything. So don't be a victim of being a victim, right? So if you're going to this place, hello, you don't want to end up in Club Fed just for a few bucks.
No, man, no. And then you be trying to buy a book from me to get you out of there.
Right? So just do your research before you go to a restaurant. You Googling them. You're doing X, Y, and Z. My mom always said this. If you put a dishonest dime with 90 cents, that ruins the whole dollar. So there's good people that can help you, right? Oh, man, she's always dropping wisdom.
Boy!
I wake up in the morning, she texts me, "This the day the Lord has made." I know, Mom. I know, thank you for that. So, but yeah, I had a girl that worked for me years ago. Then she went to work for a law firm, here in town. And she told me, she's like, "Yo, it's crazy what they're doing. They send patients undercover into these doctors' offices with microphones and all these sort of jazz, and seeing what they're doing, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on that's not above board." And like you were saying, when you look like us, when your last name Lopez, Williams, and Jackson, guess what? It's a higher incidence in their watching, human community. Unfortunately, there's been a history, and so. It is what it is, but just make sure you pick the right doctor. You're going to see someone that's going to care for you, because for me, all that matters is getting you better. Are we going to get you paid?
Well,
of course.
Well, we're trying to send Tampa Bay to you. I mean, we don't have to go to no more doctors. I mean, you done had a guy come in here and sitting here live on air and say, "I care more about your health than the amount of money that you can get."
Yeah.
And me just knowing lawyer friends and kind of some people in that field, I've never heard that. Most of the time, I hear the play up. You got to go 4 times. You got to tell them your neck and your back. Why do you think I'm trying to wait for that auto accident on I-4 or 275? I'm ready. When I say I'm ready, I'm ready.
So, well, that's a great point. That's a great point, because
get me.
that's a great point you made, because there's so much information in the community that you got to do X, Y, Z, because those are the ABC clinic that does the same thing. The truth of the matter is, I can see you once a week or 4 times a week. It all depends on what your injuries are. I'm going to get you better regardless. That's the truth of the matter. Now, some of the attorneys and some things like that, they try to get you to do certain things. So I'm advocating. I always tell the lawyers I work with, I say, "Listen, I'll let you do the law. Let me handle the medical. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to get these people better. I'm not pushing stuff on them unnecessarily to build up a case, because guess what? I've been doing this long enough. I know what to do." The insurance company has software, right, guys? So when you send this report in, there's keywords. There's no one reading. It's a computer. It's called Colossus. You can look this up. So my reports are such that when it comes through, it's like bing, 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 bing. So I know the right verbiage to use, and I'm going to get the people better. So that's why the patients that we see, they always get great settlements. Now, I'm not on the billboard saying, that would be looking kind of silly, but they always get the bag when they come in. And it matters which doctor you're seeing, because the insurance company, this is how they look at it. This is why these big lawyers, they say we have the power to fight the insurance company. They have a lot of money to fight. So if you have this attorney who doesn't have any bite with his bark, they're not going to really value his demands, right? So if you have a lawyer and he's respected and they know, okay, maybe he can take us to task, that makes all the difference. Similarly, if you have a doctor that's writing terrible notes, not doing the right treatment, the right protocols, that's also going to hinder the case. So it takes a combination of all this, if it's an injury case, to get the results that you want.
When you have somebody comes to you for treatment, how often do you have the opposition coming in to find out how serious their treatment is?
Oh, insurance companies are, well, I'm a black doctor, so they look at everything we do. That's the truth. I
That's
mean,
true.
I've had everybody
Yeah.
call me. In fact, funny story. During COVID, we moved locations, and I think it was Progressive or someone called me on my cell. They say, "Hey, doctor, we got some of your mail returned to us. We just want to see what's going on." I said, "Oh no, I just moved locations." She says, "You're way too popular. You got offices all over." I had to take a step back. I said, "Man, this is an insurance company calling me, telling me about this." But I said, "Lady, even if I had to practice out of my garage, I'd never close down." So we just here for the people. But the insurance companies are watching everything because they're looking for any reason not to pay. Like,
Any reason.
were you drinking? If you did anything? So when people go to these phone calls to insurance companies, they're really friendly. "Oh, Michelle, how are you?" Or sometimes they'll invite you in to meet with their doctors or to meet with them, and all they're looking for is anything they can poke a hole in this story or this case where they can deny it, and that's their main goal. They're not your friend. I know the commercial with Flo. She looks so sweet. And the
Flo
little
is not your
lizard.
friend.
Guess what, man?
Flo is not your friend.
Listen, Linda, listen, let me tell you, that little lizard is a dinosaur. He's not your friend. Flo's not your friend. Some people call him Snake Farm and all snake.
Nah, Snake
because
Farm?
yeah.
God, dog, I ain't never heard that.
Because guess what? We're fighting for you guys. John say he for the people, but Dr. Fred's for the people. And I'm making sure I do everything to make sure you get what you deserve.
There's a commercial that, I listen to YouTube a lot because I have my YouTube playlist, and there's a commercial that's running on YouTube and has been running for over a year now. And I literally, every time I hear that commercial, I automatically send them a message via their YouTube channel and says, "Cut this foolishness. We can get you paid. If you've been in an auto accident in the last 2 years, well, first of all, the law said you got 14 days to go and get treated. So how you going to do something for somebody in the last 2? But see, everybody are doing things right now on social media for clickbait. If you click on this,
Likes.
they're gonna run your number. They're gonna run their numbers to their advertising team and their sponsors, their corporate sponsors, and say, "Hey, look how many clicks we had on this YouTube channel." Don't, like Walt said, don't get hoodwinked. Don't get stupid.
Bamboozle.
Don't be bamboozled. Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't fall for the okie doke. Don't be stupid because I don't want to come through. Spiritually and tight piece of you're gonna win if you come with me. I'm telling you, hands down, you're gonna win. But I don't want to have to go to God to make sure that.
I think Dr. Fred need to put us in the next video. You know what I'm saying? The next commercial, because I can lay all out and I can
I like that idea.
1-800 and
I like that.
you know,
all y'all come in.
1-844.
1-844, one call, one stop.
One call, that's all, baby.
That's it.
I like
That's
that.
it.
The
That's
next
it.
live we'll do in an office. We'll do some adjustments. Bring the
Yeah,
studio.
put me
Bring
in
the
there.
bring
Yeah.
the producer. I think that's a great idea. You know what I hate? Because YouTube is all these platforms. There's these folks. Let me tell you guys. When y'all come in my office and ask me to pull your head with this rope, I'm not doing it. That's not chiropractic. If you want someone to pull your rope with your head with a rope, ask your boyfriend. I'm not doing that. That's not medical. It's not chiropractic. The first doctor that strokes somebody out, I'm like, I told y'all. That's not. They don't teach that in
Black
any
people ain't
school.
even going for that one. They get in there.
Let me tell you something. But let me
Oh,
tell you
roll.
something. There is a chiropractic office in Tampa
Stop it.
on Martin Luther King that has the rope hanging on the wall and tells patients to go over and hang your neck in this rope. And so when I seen this, I say, what type of backwoods
Foolishness.
Jim Crow enslavement oppression stuff is this?
Listen, Fred said it earlier in the interview. If they got a rope on the wall, I need to go open me a facility. You know what I'm saying? I need to go ahead and open me a facility. If that's what's going on out here, they
It
put the
is.
rope on the wall.
Foolishness.
Come on,
Buffoonery. You're talking about clickbait. I mean, these guys on here doing some crazy stuff on Instagram and TikTok for views. I'm like, man, if this is what it takes to be famous, I'm not going to make myself look like a dancing monkey to get some clicks. And what does that equal to? Because guess what? I'm not going to sell myself out. If it was all about money, I would have a pharmacy in my office. I'll be having all these different things that I could sell. And you'd be like a infomercial, right? Come in and get
One-stop
all this,
shop.
right? I got used cars over here. I got a juice bar. I got vitamins. I got pillows. I got men.
Right.
I'd be
Get them socks too. Get them
right.
socks too. They
I got
half off right
clothes,
now.
right?
5 for 10, 5 for 10.
Gucci bags over there. I'm like, come on, man. You got to be true to who you are. Because when I go to sleep at night, man, let me tell you, I sleep so good because I know I'm doing what God put me here to do. I'm serving his people. I'm serving his people. And people, like you talk about, I've seen people from years ago, they come back and say, man, whatever you did, all these things you gave for me, still help.
Now, Dr. Fred, I got to ask you a question because, you know, the people out here want some type of, like, give me something.
Yeah.
Now, most Americans that I know or the few people that I speak to, you know, have sleeping trouble.
Oh, my God.
So this is a, you know, boy, I can't talk to you today. I done had, a crink in my neck or my back hurt or I didn't get good rest last night. Is there, you know, you coming from a professional doctor standpoint? Because, you know, I'm just an average Joe. I tell you, go sleep on the floor and you straighten out your back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying from a doctor or professional standpoint, is there something that you could give our community some advice on how they could get proper rest at night?
Yes. So one of the things I see more often than not, one of the things people don't even mention in the beginning is sleep. So many people suffer with sleep and digestion, but sleep number one. And so I ask them, like, how is your sleep after your first visit? I always tell people, you're going to sleep probably better than you ever slept in your life. You're going to sleep like a baby. And they come in and like, wow, I slept through the night. Some people sleep in 2 hours a night, 3, 4, 5. I'm like, it's hard to believe. I remember when I was almost beginning, it was a lady that was coming in to see me. I never forget her. She's probably watching, but she would come in, and honestly, I thought this lady was high because her eyes were so low, and she would talk like this. And then after a little bit of treatment, she says, Dr. Fred, I got to tell you something. I said, what's up? She says, I slept last night. I said, okay. She says, you don't understand. I've only been sleeping 2 hours a night for years.
When it's cold
Oh, my
outside.
That gave me chills on my body when I told this story. To me, it blew my mind. But so many people come in, they're not sleeping. They're waking up through the night. They got pain, or they can't use the bathroom. Guess what? You're supposed to go to the restroom more than once a day or more than once a week. But a lot of people having difficulty using the bathroom, you know, discolorations, all these different things. You might be thinking, how can a chiropractor help me sleep? Great question. The brain sends the message down, and it goes through your spine, and all these nerves go to your organs, cells, and tissues of your body. Think about the body like an electrical box. The fuse box is here, but all those wires, when I move my fingers, there's a wire literally coming down to these fingers. So if that nerve is cut off, guess what? These fingers won't move.
Right.
These toes won't wiggle. This heart won't beat. So if there's any interference going to any of those end organs, you're going to have dysfunction. What are some signs of dysfunction? Pain. Of course, everyone knows pain. But guess what? Some things don't have pain signals. You ever heard someone say, ooh, my kidney hurting today? No, right? Because some things don't give off a injury sign. But how do you know that those organs aren't functioning? Because you've taken exogenally a pill trying to address the symptoms. Similar to if you're driving your car and the check engine light come on, well, you're like, man, screw that. I'm going to put some black tape on this and I'm going to keep driving. Now you're on Courtney Campbell, like, Michelle, I'm stuck on the bridge. What happened? We know what happened. You cover up the check
Put that
engine
Band-Aid
signs,
on it. Yeah,
right?
put a Band-Aid on
And
it.
that's what we do in America. We just cover up the symptoms. Here, do this, do that. You'll feel better, right? Or are they better? I'll let you answer that.
And again, from the beginning, people, you have to understand, you don't have to be in an auto accident to go to a chiropractor. Your spine is the most instrumental part of the body, because when it's out of whack, you're out of whack. Because guess what? You can get sciatic pain, nerves sitting on, disc pinching on your nerves. I know I'm suffering with sciatica right now. Fred,
I had to stop you right there. Is it because I've been hearing sciatic nerve pain a lot? Just a quick question: is there anything to do to alleviate the sciatic nerve?
It
pain?
is. It is.
Absolutely. So just a simplified version. From the brain, the spine comes out and it splits. It goes behind your legs through a muscle called the piriformis muscle. And it kind of looks like a twister, but that big spinal cord splits into two, and now it's the largest nerve, the sciatic nerve, and it goes between here. Now, if that muscle pinches, guess what? Now you have that pain, and that's what sciatic pain is. So your hips get twisted up and down, left and right. That's what's causing the muscles to pull left or right, up or down, and that's what's clamping down on the nerve, causing the numbness and tingling and pain. So all I do is look and see what's out of place, slide it back in place, release the pressure, and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe this worked.
Wow.
And so when you're really thinking that you're having,
Slip disc. Okay.
yeah, when you're really thinking that you're having hip pain, you're not having hip pain. It's that that
The
muscle,
nerve.
that and that
Mhm.
nerve that's causing that pain. That's why I'm encouraging. I told something to Fred when we spoke, a couple of days ago on the phone. I said, Fred, it makes me angry because these mothers and fathers, they push these children out on these little league football fields and baseball fields, and guess what? These kids are getting crushed. They're still developing. And you know what? Let me tell you something. Because it's on my heart, so it's gonna come out my mouth, and I think I know enough about that, about me about that. A lot of these children, the reason why they're really on these football fields, the reason why a lot of these little girls are in these cheerleading outfits, a lot of reason why these mothers are pushing these little girls to be dancerettes now, because you got pregnant in school, your dream got shattered, you got arrested, your dream got shattered. Now you vicariously living through your children, and when your children don't want to play football or be a dancerette or be a cheerleader, they too afraid to say, Mama, I don't want to dance. Mama, I don't want to be a cheerleader. Or Mama or Daddy, I don't want to play football. Because the children are going to do whatever they have to do to satisfy their parents and keep their parents happy. No, I'm not that activist. I ain't that mama, ain't that grandmama. I ain't the one of the two. In 2024, I'm telling you, I'm gonna say something about them children being out there. Matter of fact, I'm gonna be meeting with the Little League organization headquarters over in Orlando to make it mandatory that every child has to go to a chiropractor before they can play Little League football, and you better get treatment for that child while they're playing football. You ain't gonna ruin that child because you trying to satisfy your little sorry needs. You should have did better. When you know better, you do better. And 2024, yeah, 2024, we getting it in 2024. Everything I done let slide in this community since 2008, I ain't letting nothing slide in 2024. I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna beat your ass for the old and the new.
They say if you let a person slide long enough, they think they can skate.
Yeah.
That just me.
Nah.
I might have heard that somewhere. But it's good though. It's good to know that, once again, we got good information out. There's people writing on comments of what about C-sections and slip disc and
C-sections again.
That's a good post
C-sections,
right there.
Let me tell you something. You are seeing more C-sections in Black and Latino women in the world. You know why? Because doctors are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. There is nothing wrong with your baby to come through your vagina, but these doctors want that money because you either on Medicaid or you got private health care insurance through the healthcare market. Oh no.
What about the women who are trying to keep their body together? Come on now, let's put that in there too now.
So a good point you guys made about the C-section. So when we see these babies, toddlers, they suffer what we call birth trauma. What's birth trauma, Doc? We've seen kids with ADD, ADHD, acute ear infection, asthma, and allergies. Why? Because most babies are born. If we do a poll, have them type in, what day was your baby born on? I'm gonna guess Tuesday. Why? Do an exam, and then but the hospital will schedule all these babies, and then bring the doctor in, because most of the time when you go to the hospital, you're seeing the nurse or PA. You're not seeing the doctor. So they'll schedule these births on a Tuesday, get in there, knock these out, boom, and then we're out there on a golf course. Why? Because it costs more to bring the doctor in. OBGYNs, let's talk about malpractice insurance real quick. Malpractice insurance goes like this. They give the high and the low, right? Chiropractors have one of the lowest malpractice rates. Why? Insurance companies let me know. It's the level of risk, the risk of injury, maiming, or killing someone. So that's why we have the lowest malpractice insurance. Who has the highest malpractice insurance? OBGYNs, because it's more likely someone gets maimed or killed with birth, right? So they take the baby, twist his head, yank him out, and they say, okay, be careful with little Johnny. But they already damaged him right from the beginning in his neck, or they put a suction, suck him out, right? So all these babies,
brain damage with the suction, because the brain, and when a child is being born, the brain has, forget the soft spot, the brain has not developed those tissue and muscles around it to you know what I'm saying, for it to be still. That's why they say be careful with the child's head in the first year of his life because of that soft spot. And if you go walk right now, even on your bald head, guess what? Your mama gonna be able to go right to that soft spot that she cared for your whole first 2 years of your life. That soft spot is still there.
Why she gotta put my baldness out like that? She gotta put my baldness out like that. I like being bald. You know what I'm saying? I like being bald.
Oh, man.
But listen, guys, this has been a great show. We have just a few moments left, and we want to thank you all for tuning in to it. It's on Facebook. I think now TikTok has the ability for you guys to go back and view the lives. And we want to thank you so much. Walt, just do me a favor, just to appease me and my arrogance. Just swipe your hand very lightly. Your finger. Just put it on the screen and swipe it to the left. How many people it say watching?
It said we had
Is that 8 or 6?
817.
Okay, thank you. Now swipe it back to the right, please.
Swipe it back to the right.
I gotta get 1,000 people so I can go live on TikTok, y'all. Michelle just told me I need to step my game up.
Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay. Thank you for tuning in to another phenomenal episode of the Stay Woke Show with Dr. Michelle Williams, Walter Dunn III, and our guests. And he gonna be our house guest now. Dr. Frederick Williams. You better go get your spine cracked. Remember what I told you? Ain't no free cootie cat this year. Feel it. All right now.
Yesterday price ain't today's.
Listen, we'll see y'all next week, same time. We had a wonderful time. We want to thank Dr. Fred for coming on our show, telling our community about the proper way to get treatment. If you're trying to live a long, prosperous life, go see Dr. Fred.
That's right.
Thank you,
Facebook,
guys.
You heard it over here. I'll get to y'all in a minute.
Love, peace, and Afro grease. Ooh, I need that track. That's so smooth, man.
Thank you. That's my theme song. You got us.
Yeah, what's up, girl?
Hey, Thrill, you going to the skating party?
Yeah, we heading over later for the party, but look, this is what I call to tell you. My homie Bezel coming. You kinda got his heart on sprung, so you gonna have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Okay.